Hey there, cozy gamers, welcome back to Cuddle Up Gaming, where we dive into the coziest, most relaxing games out there. Today I have 11 top tips for tiny Glade that will take your building to the next level. So grab a blanket, cuddle up, and let's jump right into it. So I'm starting off with this really basic building. Let's just add a door, a little path, nothing too much. And we're going to expand on this throughout the video so that you can see the tips in real time. So tip number 1, wood. When using the customize tool to change the colours, if you add these wooden beams on and then click the building to customize again, you can see that you get an extra row of these beautiful colours to colour the wood on the building as well. This allows for a more detailed, colour coordinated build. Additionally, if you have raised buildings, the pillars they stand on turn from stone to wood for that added detail, and the colour matches as well. Tip number 2. The roof on circular towers. Now you already know that you can change the shape of the roof, whether it be concave or convex on the square buildings, by right clicking it to see all of the edit markers, but on the circular towers this is not the case. Like, you can change the height for the roof but not the shape. So, for those who have been asking how to do this, you hover over it and edit it from there. This allows you to go from the pointy spires to the dome top towers. Tip number 3. Walls and fences. This may seem like a silly one, but drawing fences and walls is all well and good. If you want to make them more of a particular shape, just like the buildings, you can right-click them and finesse the shape into something more specific by using the snap points it provides to you. Additionally, you can separate different parts of the walls if you want different heights across any of them. Tip number 4. Windows to doors. As you may have noticed, there is no doors tool to enable you to put the doors on balconies or anywhere else that you might want them. The only way that's currently obvious to do this is to use a path and draw up to the wall that then puts a door or archway into the wall. To do this without the path, you can use windows and drag them down to the floor. Now, while demonstrating this, you can also see that I have doubled up the doors, and you can do the same with the windows. Obviously, you can get them in the single size where they're thinner, or you can double them up and make them bigger, or even triple them up and make them even bigger. While on the topic of windows, if you use the windows on the roof, you can get these beautiful looking windows that look like attic rooms. This just really adds to the depth of your build and gives it that oh so desperate dimension that you need. You can add additional windows into this too, making them bigger, like you can see here. This works on both the square roofs and the rounded tower ones, so don't be afraid to play around with these and see what fits best. For the clutter or decoration that you can find around your windows and doors, which just add that little bit more detail to your builds, you can actually rotate through these by left clicking on the door or window that you want the decorations around. So as you can see here, I'm rotating through them to find which one I like, precisely how I like it. This changes what's on the floor and on the window itself, so you can change what's in the window, like you can have a flower box or a clothesline, it varies. So for tip number 8, the next thing that can add a little spark or creativity to your builds is the cobblestone roads. Now, this is not something that they actively give you, however, you can finesse your way into having the illusion of a cobblestone road. To create a cobblestone road effect, you can create a building and lower the wall size so it's almost touching the ground, and although it does have a small wall around it, you can replace this with buildings, which gives this awesome effect of a town square, or will help with multiple layers of a building, like creating a bridge between buildings. Just quickly going back to the decorations around your building, having the random placement of objects surrounding your buildings is a beautiful thing, but what if you want them further away from the doors and windows like you normally get? Well, adapting on from the cobblestone roads, you can place trapdoors on the flat ceilings, which will also place random items around them. And like before, if you left click, you can cycle through them until you find the one you want with the decoration you want. Then layer another small building on top like we did before with the cobblestone roads idea, just enough to cover the trapdoor, but this won't affect the decorations. They may disappear temporarily, but they will come back once the road is in the right position. Tip number 10, steps. Now, steps is an easy one to miss, and although it may seem simple, it really adds the next sort of depth to your builds. Drawing a path through any elevated terrain or low down building will create the steps you want up to your elevated building like I am doing now. This is also a great way to make those cobblestone paths look less like a roof and more like a path. And last but not least, step 11, layering. This is the most important one. With layering, not only can you hide a multitude of sins like the trapdoors that we hid earlier, or you can make extravagant buildings, like overlapping a layer further up in your buildings with beams holding the buildings up, or adding extra rooms that overhang the original building. If you keep it close to the wall you're building upon, you can avoid using the columns, the pillars, and it'll hold the building expansion with beams instead. I highly recommend playing around with the layering, as the game has a great way of adapting your buildings to fit the extra layers. Just be careful of the windows and doors placements, as this can get really tricky when there's multiple buildings within the one. So, as an example, after spending a little bit of time playing around with all these tips and tricks, this is what I've made. So this is really basic and simple in comparison to some of the builds that you might be seeing going around on the internet right now, with everyone letting their creative flair fly. But this is just an example that holds all of the little pieces that I've given you all together at the same time, that just brings that build together in its entirety. I hope you found these tips and tricks useful, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more relaxing game content. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay cozy, cuddle up, and I'll see you in the next one.